So BigBear.AI stock is up over 17% on the week. It's up almost 30% on the month, and over 3 months up 55%. So this stock is looking bullish, it's trending up, and it's setting up for a potential high value trade with a potential upside of over 245%. So in this video, I want to share my thoughts on this stock and share some possible trading rules for this trending AI stock. Let's take a look. Now, if you find value in my analysis of Big Bear stock today or other stocks on my channel, you may also find value in my trading tips newsletter. If you subscribe, I'll send you professional tips to help you make more profits trading stocks. I'll leave a link in the description below. Check it out. So looking on the chart for Big Bear, the weekly chart, we can see this stock is looking bullish. It is trending upwards. Since this significant trough back here in December 2022, around 57 cents, this stock is trending up. And you can see I've added a long-term trend line, including this trough here and also this significant trough here around $1.18, created in August 2024. So we can see it is consistently creating higher lows and moving up. And more recently, the trend is accelerating. It looks as if Big Bear wants to move higher and is pulling away from this longer term trend line. So looking at this price trough here and also this significant trough here around $2.35, we can add a second trend line just to confirm that the trend is accelerating. And it does appear that Big Bear is looking to move up. Checking out the performance of this stock, you can see on the week, on the month, the last 3 months, the last 6 months, year to date, and even over 1 year. It's all green. This stock is looking bullish. It is trending upwards, and there's a lot of interest in this AI stock. So next, I want to share with you some key price levels for this AI stock, and which will help us identify support and resistance and some possible price targets. So first up is the all-time high, which is this price peak back here created during April 2022, and that's around $16. Underneath that level, we've got this price peak created recently in this year during February, and this peak was around about $10 here. Underneath $10, we've got this price peak here back created in February 2023, that's around $6.78. Under that, we've got the peak created here in March 2024, that's around $4.77. Under $4.77, we've got this significant price trough created recently where price created the trough in May 2025, so around 6 weeks ago. So I'll mark that up at $2.35. Under $2.35, we've got this key price level here where Big Bear's found support on multiple occasions. So in August 2024, in June 2024, and also in October 2023. So this level is around about $1.16. And under that level, we've got the all-time low, which I've marked up already, around 57 cents. So based on these key price levels, we can see the recent price action for Big Bear is that it created this significant peak this year in February at around $10. It was sold off then, and price has fallen into this key level of around $2.30. Since that time, it's now moving up and it is looking bullish. If we zoom in on the weekly chart for Big Bear, we can see that price action is looking bullish this week. There's been a green bar this week, a big green bar. It does look as if buyers want to take the price higher, and price has traded overall this week so far above this key level of $4.77. However, there does look as if there is some selling pressure as the close is around halfway up the bar. So it's not clear this week whether the buyers or sellers are going to take control and if price will close above this key level. So looking at the daily chart for Big Bear, we can see price has been moving up steadily since this significant low here of around 236. You can see it's been creating higher highs and higher lows as the price has been moving up. So from here, it peaked around about 380. It pulled back to here, created the next peak, created another higher low, a higher peak, a higher low. And since this time in June, It's now tracking sideways slightly, and it looks as if now it's looking for support around about this level here. It moved up, it pulled back slightly. It didn't move lower than this level here of 360, which is positive, showing there's buying interest. And then we had this really strong breakout during Tuesday's session this week, and price broke out and closed above this key level of 477. And then yesterday the price kept going, so buyers kept coming in, and they traded up until this peak of 586 during that day. But then the sellers came in and price did pull back, and it ended up closing around about 480, but above this key level of 477. So the big question is now, what will Big Bear do next in the next few days, and where will it close out for this week? So on the daily chart, if we look at the most recent bar, it's a red bar, it is a down bar, a bearish bar. So in theory, we must expect the selling to continue for Big Bear in the next session, but we can't confirm that until it happens. Back on the weekly chart, we can see that overall this week, this bar's looking bullish. There was some selling pressure yesterday, and it closed almost at this key level of 477. So the next few days are going to be critical for Big Bear, and they will confirm direction. Hopefully, what we want to see is for this whole week to close out above that key level of 477. That would give us some confidence that the price is going to move higher next week and the buyers are staying in control. However, we do have this short-term support level of 365 corresponding to these two lows here. So it may be that Big Bear actually ends up moving up like this. It's pulled back, found support there. It's broken out this week, and it may come back down to test this level of 360 once again, perhaps next week, before having another go at breaking above this key level. And if it does so, what we need to see then is to come back and close and hold above this key level of 477 to give us the confidence that it wants to keep going up and test this level of 679. Another scenario, more bearish scenario, is that Big Bear might find resistance where it is. It might fall, under and close under this level for this week. Don't forget, it has been traded up to this level. It didn't close high yesterday, so the selling might be too strong, and it might end up closing, underneath this bar for the week and come back down to this level here. It could be a bit more bearish. There could be more selling pressure, and the price might come down to test this trend line around about 315. That is also possible. From there, it might find support and start to move back up and test this key level once again. So this week will be critical to confirm for the week who's in control, the buyers or the sellers. So if you want to take a position with Big Bear and trade this stock, or perhaps hold it long term, what sort of rules could you use to enter the stock, and what sort of profit potentials on offer? So you can see on screen on the weekly chart, I've drawn this orange line which corresponds to the price peak of the week commencing 27th of May. And that price peak was 461. So based on Dow theory, you could enter once price breaks above that 461 price peak and closes for the whole week. In essence, what we're saying is after this low here, price has moved up to create this peak here. It's pulled back to this level here, and now we want to see that the buyers are committed. We want to see price not only go above this key level as it has done already this week, but now we want to see, will this bar for the week, will it close for the whole week above this peak here of 461? That's the key. If it does close for the week and you want to use Dow theory to enter this stock, you could enter the stock next week once you get confirmation that price has closed for the week above this key price peak here. So that's an option for the weekly chart. Now on the daily chart, we've got a similar scenario. So looking shorter term, we can see that the price action for Big Bear from this trough here, it moved up, peak, trough, peak here, we've got a trough here, and then we've got this significant peak being created here at 463. So since this peak, it has pulled back to this level of support here around about 366. And since this time, it's now moved up and will create a new peak this week. So on the daily chart, we can see already Tuesday's price action did close above this peak for the day. So if you're using daily rules, you could have entered yesterday on open at this price here, getting confirmation using Dow theory on the daily chart. Now, if you had entered there, obviously at around 580, you'd be down now. You would be down because the day closed around about 480. But look, this is a speculative stock. It is getting traded, I'd imagine. It's not making profit yet, so there is volatility with this stock. So these price swings are completely normal, and you have to be patient. Of course, tomorrow there's a good chance that this price might continue to move up, or it might pull back a bit more. We just don't know yet. So if you are looking to use daily rules, you could use Dow theory on the daily chart to enter this stock. So back on the weekly chart then, if you were to use Dow theory and enter possibly next week on confirmation, what sort of profit could you take on this potential trade? So entering around $4.60 with an initial stop loss of around 15% would give you a profit target to 666 of around 45%. And then if the price keeps going, you could target the $10 level, which give you a potential of 122%. And long term, if the price keeps going, you could target the all-time high of $16. So around about 245% potential upside, medium to long term. With a 15% stop loss would give you a risk to reward of 16, which is really, really good. But this might unfold longer term. I think the initial target would be, $6 to $10. So overall, BigBear.AI stock is looking bullish. It's a sea of green for all the metrics. It does look as if it wants to move up, and there's definitely an entry opportunity next week with lots of potential profit available. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you bullish on Big Bear? Do you think it's going to hit $10 or $20 by the end of the year? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.